Hello, my dear friends. How are you doing? Hope you are having an amazing day and not having to deal with drama. Ready for new stories I have for you today? Let's go to the first one. And don't forget to listen to the end of the story, guys, to hear my insights. Enjoy the stories. And don't forget to like and subscribe. And of course, don't forget to leave a comment. My sister is 7 years older than me. She's in her early 30s now, and she and her husband are living with my parents, having friends over in their pool in the summer, eating their food, etc. When she was in school, she put in little to no effort, ditched classes to go to the beach, etc. She almost failed out, so my mom took her out and homeschooled her, which meant her and my mom hung out and went shopping and had fun. I was in all AP classes and spent hours upon hours doing work every night. My sister eventually graduated from college with a C average and a useless degree, and now works an entry-level job where she gets to work from home most days of the week. She spends most of her time playing video games and hanging out with friends. I graduated college with 2 STEM degrees in 3 years and now work 50 to 60 hours a week in tech. I am proud of the work I've done and the things I've accomplished, but sometimes I just wonder why I did all this. What's the point when my sister puts in no effort and gets everything handed to her? Why don't I do that? The only difference is my salary is a decent amount higher than hers. But because of that, my parents pay for things for her and give her money to make up for salary differences, because it's not fair that society pays more for certain jobs. So I had to work harder than her my entire life. I now work twice as many hours with much harder work, and it just seems like there's no real reward. It gets me unreasonably angry at her sometimes, and then I feel bad about being angry with her because she's my sister, and I'm supposed to be happy that she is able to live this lifestyle. If I'm her sister, aren't I supposed to want her to succeed rather than be resentful of her? I feel like my resentment is ruining my relationship with her and my parents for enabling it. Please, help! First of all, parents won't be around for OP's cider forever. So the question is, what's she gonna do then? Yes, maybe she will find a husband to take care of her. She might be able to have the same lifestyle. But what if she's not? Secondary, OP needs to ask herself, why is she doing this? If she is doing everything in life to impress her family or her sister, then she is doing it for the complete wrong reason. OP will never find happiness in success if she only wants success for validation, because I can almost guarantee that validation will never come. Or, if it does, OP will be left wondering, well, now what? OP should be going into a STEM field because she wants to, because it compels her, or just because she wants a secure future for herself, though. Everything OP does, she is doing it for herself, not for her sister, and not for her parents. OP is wasting her precious time feeling salty about her sister's laziness. OP's sister is playing a losing game. OP is playing a winning game. So OP should not be wasting her time thinking about what she's doing. OP needs to put her head down and focus up where it matters. Basically, my issue is my family and their strict rules, education I have to deal with. I'm not allowed to do much, and it affects me because they don't seem to let me grow and become an adult. I'm 22 now, and I still can't go out, ever, except when I go to school, but my time is counted. They make sure to get my schedule every year. I'm also sent to the grocery shop pretty often, but here again cannot take long. Staying at home alone for too long, a few hours, is not possible either. They're probably scared I'd go out or something. I can't have money at all, so when I'm back from the grocery shop, I gotta give them the rest of the money, plus the receipts, which is so embarrassing. I'm not allowed to work as well. I have a bank account, but I've never had access to it simply because I'm not allowed to. I've actually never even seen my credit card. They're very close-minded to the point where I'm not allowed to have friends. They say your only friends are your family. The issue is that the education I grew up with never allowed us to be close, whether with my mom or my siblings. There were so many taboo subjects that create a lot of barriers and distance between us, so nobody is close to anybody in this family. but we all try to fake a pseudo-closeness, which is awkward. My siblings agree with this education because they're all older than me, so most of them live by themselves. I'm the youngest and the troublemaker in the family. I broke the rules several times when I was younger compared to them, since they always agreed with this education. So the rules got worse throughout the years for me. They're strict also, because with them, there is not much time for entertainment. The only acceptable entertainment must have a beneficial aspect, such as listening to English music to learn English. French is my mother language. But listening to any other language music is pretty forbidden, which is so odd. Same thing about phones. It's a distraction, so I still can't have a phone. I'm 22. I have a laptop, but they check what I'm doing in it sometimes behind my back. Actually, my whole bedroom is checked whenever I'm away. They never do it in front of me because they would look very petty. My mom and I's relationship is bad. She is very superstitious in a kind of unhealthy way. She believes in stuff like the evil eye, and in the past, she would go to each of us privately and tell us to be careful of each other because of jealousy reasons, etc. She doesn't do that in a mean way. She truly thinks she's doing good, but this ruined our siblingships because we're all kind of suspicious of each other now. She does it a bit less these last couple years. Now it's jealousy toward her. She sometimes calls me the cursed child because I announced her in a bad news. My relationship with her got so bad that we barely talk now because she frustrates me with her attitude, mindset, personality, education, the life she makes me live. So I'm always cold toward her, toward everyone, but mainly her. She feels the tension between us, but never talks about it. Instead, she starts taking revenge by hiding stuff, like the toothpaste, the shampoo, the food. I'm so embarrassed just talking about it. My relationship with my family is terrible to say the least. They're aware their methods are not the best for my personal development. They care more about the family's reputation, so they pretty much put me in a cage, so I'll for sure won't do the honor of the family wrong. They raised me to always depend on them and basically be irresponsible. For example, I'm still not allowed to take an appointment to the doctor or register to college by myself because these things are for adults. But I'm 22 when it's for adults. I'm forced to depend on them, so I always have to ask them to do things for me, things I can do myself. Which is annoying because they do it in a botched way, because they're all busy doing their own things. That makes me feel like I'm a burden. They seem annoyed to treat me like a kid, but still do it as if they're forced to treat me this way because I'm not trustworthy, since I broke their trust before. Everything is wrong with the life they're forcing me to live. My mental health is disastrous. I have severe social anxiety, self-esteem issues, depression. I've lost interest in everything. This situation suffocates me. I wish I could leave, but I'm scared. I'm too scared of everything. Them included. I don't want to drop out of school either. I have nowhere to go, so I'm stuck living this nightmare. Sometimes I tell myself I'm just being dramatic because they're not bad people either. Are my feelings valid? I've always lived this way. It's hard to be objective, so I really need more of a realistic point of view from you. Also, should I wait until I finish my studies to leave? Or should I leave now? Which is gonna be hard because I have no clue where to go right now. You may suggest to talk to them. I tried, but my opinion doesn't matter because they think they know better than me. So it always leads to a confrontation because they always think I'm planning to do something bad whenever I ask them to trust me more or give me more freedom. Therefore, they become more strict, so I stopped asking them anything. They're really close-minded. They don't believe in mental health issues. They think they're just excuses, so talking to them about this would make the situation worse. How can I get out of this situation? Any advice would be appreciated. Honestly, OP is an adult. She doesn't have to put up with this. I know families are different, and in different cultures, it's normal for adults to live with their parents till they're married or something, but this is too much. I would seek counseling from OP's school, maybe in between classes, or even skip a class if OP can talk to someone. OP needs to tell them she is not allowed to go anywhere, or allowed to get a job, or have her own money. It sounds like OP is being held hostage in her own home. Update. So I was able to see my college's psychologist, even though it took me a lot of time to get an appointment because I didn't have a phone. I explained them the situation and they immediately took things seriously. I was also able to see a social worker who helped me get a residence room. I moved out last Wednesday. Unfortunately, my family ended up finding me the day I moved out. No need to explain how terrible that day was. So I'll have to move out again very soon, which is good. I'm not gonna lie, I'm completely terrified now that I'm just by myself. I feel so alone and scared because I don't have a home, nor anyone I can count on blindly, you know? Like someone who got my back when I need to. I've always been that type of person who's always on their guard. Now it's even worse. And the fact that my family knows where I currently live doesn't help at all. I only go out when I really need to, but I know it's just a phase and it will pass. I just need to get used to this new life. My boyfriend of 3 years has little sisters that are always really mean to me. I need advice. So, backstory about myself. I am very insecure and get embarrassed easily. I'm a pretty easy target for being made fun of because I'm shy and awkward. I haven't seen my mom in 10 years because she ate me mentally, physically. My dad kicked me out when I turned 18. The only family I have is my grandparents on my mom's side. I'm pretty open about it, and my boyfriend's family knows about it, but I'm also sensitive and can get sad about it around the holidays and my birthday. My boyfriend, 24, and I, 21, have been together for 3 years, own a house, and are really happy. His parents, grandparents, and every other family member of his and I get along great, and I love them. But he has 2 little sisters. R, 14, and K, 17, can be super mean to me for no reason. I'll list some specific examples later on. I try really hard to be nice to them and invite them to concerts, to go shopping, and I drive the 14-year-old everywhere. I take her to friends' houses, to the movies, to Six Flags, to the mall, etc., and will wait to pick her up and take her and her friends back home. I drove the 17-year-old and her dog to the emergency vet at 2 a.m. because her parents weren't home and he had a seizure. I don't mind doing this stuff because I love both of them, but they are really mean to me back. My boyfriend ignores it or tells me I'm being too sensitive because I'm letting 2 kids get to me. But the things they say are honestly really mean and hurt my feelings a lot. I never really say anything back because their parents are always there. They never say anything either. If I do say something back, they usually cry because they can't handle being called out on their nonsense. I know they're young and going through puberty, growing up, but I also think they're old enough to understand that what they are saying is really hurtful. I'll go ahead and list the examples now, but if anybody has any advice, please help me. I took both girls to a Jonas Brothers concert one night, and they told their mom I was boring, and they wished they could have gone with their friends. We were carving pumpkins, and they were talking about having coyotes in the backyard, and Kay said, "At least Siggs is here. They'll get her first." R replied, "Yeah, because she's bigger and slower." I'm really insecure about my weight, and they are both thin and athletic. I invited them and their parents to dinner with my boyfriend and me for my 21st birthday. And we were talking about how the girls are always at home compared to their brother and me at their age because we partied a lot, and R said, "Well, you're the one spending your 21st birthday with parents that aren't even your own parents." I had just mentioned that I missed my mom. I ended up having a breakdown and going back home at 9 p.m. because I felt really bad about myself. The first year into my boyfriend and I dating, I invited them to go shopping with me so we could hang out and get closer. And a few months ago, R and I were arguing about me driving her around all the time, and she said, "You're the one always inviting us out to go with you because you think we're sisters, when we aren't at all." This one put me in a week-long depressive episode. Always making fun of my clothes and my hair. I have really thin hair, and I'm very insecure about it, and they're aware. Making fun of me, making me feel bad because I didn't go to college. I never went because I was 16 when I graduated, and also in a really bad stage of life. Just making digs about how I look, act, things I say. I can usually deal with these, but sometimes they're over the top mean. I don't know. Am I too sensitive? Normally, I just remove myself from the situation, and I dread going over there for family dinners now. I even got into a fight with my boyfriend because I said I was going to spend Thanksgiving with my grandparents instead of with him and his family because I don't want to be embarrassed or end up crying in front of everybody. I just don't know what to do anymore, and I want to be close with them, but it's just exhausting at this point. They're kids, and OP is an adult. OP doesn't have to subject herself to them. Seriously, she should stop going the extra mile for them if they don't appreciate it. Should not drive them around, take them to concerts. They're old enough to understand that being mean has consequences. Also, in my opinion, it would be good for OP to see a therapist. Update. I think it's really important to note that I do not have a family of my own. I was taken away from an A mother when I was 11 and kicked out of the house by my father and stepmother the day I turned 18 because they didn't want me anymore. The only people I have left are my grandparents. So when I found out my boyfriend had a big family with 2 younger sisters, I was ecstatic. So I think it just hurts me a little bit more, and I put a lot more effort in because all I ever wanted was a family to love me. So here is an update on the situation. I decided to just stop reaching out completely. I didn't go over to their house for a few weeks and didn't talk to them at all. I also went to my grandparents' house for Thanksgiving instead of their house. The night before I left, I told my boyfriend everything I was feeling about the entire situation and how I didn't feel supported by him and that it was hurtful that he never stood up for me. He finally understood and said he would say something to them. So after Thanksgiving, he asked both girls to come over to our house while I was still gone and talk to them for about 15 minutes. He actually recorded the entire conversation so I could hear everything he said because I said I was worried he wouldn't take it seriously. He told them that I have a lot of trauma that I am dealing with, and them saying hurtful things isn't okay. He also reminded them of everything nice I've done, and how all I want in return is kindness back. There was a lot more, but it's hard to summarize without boring everyone. He said they both cried and were obviously embarrassed. A few hours later, the younger one texted me an apology, and I said thank you and that I accepted it, but I never heard from the older one. I haven't seen them or spoken to them at all, and now, with Christmas coming up, I'm worried it's going to be awkward, especially because the day of Christmas, my boyfriend and I usually go over to their house to open gifts together. I texted them both in a group chat and asked if they wanted to get breakfast this weekend, but I haven't gotten a text back, even though both of them have posted on their Snapchats. I know they are probably embarrassed and don't want to see me or think I hate them or something, but it has to be dealt with at some point, and since I'm the oldest, I figured I would reach out first. It's just taking a lot since I'm so shy and awkward, and my boyfriend said they are just embarrassed about the whole thing, but I'm still really nervous. Edit. They declined breakfast, and after reading everybody's replies, I feel very dumb asking them to go in the first place. I just felt bad and awkward and sad about the entire thing. Also, if things don't work out, do y'all think I should skip the family Christmas party and just do something separate like visit my grandparents? Or do you think that would cause more issues? OP might need to find some acceptance and peace with the fact OP may never be friends with these girls. I know it's not fair because OP has tried, but they aren't receptive at all, and were very rudely blunt about it. To them, it seems OP is trying to force a relationship a bit, and they're just not interested. Maybe when they grow out of the bratty teenage phase, things will be different. Honestly, I think OP should focus on having a relationship with the adults in his family. Parents and maybe aunts and uncles will be more receptive. So over the holidays, the kids can be with the kids, and OP can socialize with the other adults. I guarantee things will be less awkward that way.